Many other tribes like the Miami, Ho-Chunk, Menominee, Staffing Dogs also call it home. Located at the intersection of several great waterways, the land naturally became a site of travel and healing for many tribes. American Indians continue to call this area home, and now Chicago is home to the sixth largest urban American Indian community that still practices their heritage, traditions, and care for the land and waterways. Today, Chicago continues to be a place that moves many people from diverse backgrounds to live and gather here. And despite the many challenges the city has experienced, our American Indian community sees the importance of the land and this place that has always been a city home to many diverse backgrounds and perspectives. We are excited to gather here together over the next 2 days to continue the tradition of this place with the exchange of knowledge, ideas, stories, and fellowship. Thank you to everyone for being here with us today. We would like to start this afternoon with some good words. We've invited Mr. Vincent Merrill here to give us start talking.
Good morning. Stand up if you want, or stay seated. Up to you. Just hold your pause. Anyway. Gaitawa. Gaitawa Strasha. Istoa. Istoa. Ka. Sayayu. The move. Istoa. Last year, Gupina chair coach. Gupina chair coach. Tawe, Mu, Mude, Sa Mude, Sa Mu. Last year, Sayayu, Tua Ebon, Gupina chair, Hoba, Sa, Hoba. Tawe. My name is Vincent. I'm from the Pueblo Laguna in New Mexico. Traditionally, you give a gift and ask somebody to do stuff, and they can't say no. Well, they can, but then they got to pay. But so thank you very much for this honor of saying some words here. But in my language, it's Carrice language. I introduced myself, and I asked the Creator to bless this place and everybody in it, because we are the Creator's children, and that hopefully our minds will be working together on how to make a better future for our children. However.
Thank you, Vince. Now we are going to go to an opening honor song by our local community throughout the state. The host for this week's conference is Education Chicago American Collaborative. Before we share more about our committee, I wanted to share some background information about CAPE. CAPE is a network of 17 organizations and programs dedicated to meeting the needs of Americans in the Greater Chicago area. Our leaders on the Administrative Oversight Committee are Rose Aaron from the Varsity Bank Center for Digital Studies, Jody Roy from Pinketeer Center of Chicago, Jasmine Gurno from Northwestern University, and Shante Moore from Chicago Public Schools American Indian Education. You can find a list of all the organizations and programs that make up CAPE at the end of the conference program booklet. We now would like to introduce you to Marty Smiley, who serves as the facilitator of CAPE, to share a bit more about the overall collaborative.
Hi, everyone. So it's great to have these many faces in person. I've seen a lot of these floating heads throughout this past year. I started as the facilitator of CAPE, I think in June. So this is my first time that I'm actually seeing anyone live, and it's really great. And I'm up here to kind of give you guys an overview of what CAPE is about. And then we're going to do kind of a little, we'll call it networking game. After I'm kind of done talking about what CAPE is about. So it was very exciting for me to be able to work with an organization that means a lot to me. I'm also Native American. My tribe is called Wichita-Missouri. It's based in Bedrock, Oklahoma. And to be able to help Chicago Native people have a stronger voice within not only Chicago, but hopefully the Midwest, and eventually, hopefully, just have an impact that CAPE has been able to do. So the fact that we're 17 organizations gives us a great opportunity for us to come together as one and to help the organizations that are already existing, help you guys in any way become, as I like to say, better versions of yourselves. So we're not trying to get in the way, we're just trying to support everything that our organizations are already doing. So I guess it's a little bit of background on how I ended up in this role and working with CAPE as a facilitator. It's been a lot of fun. We've been doing a lot of stuff that I was able to come on board. And a lot of these things were already, water anyone? A lot of these things are already in the mix before I got here, but if I'm going to have to do a little bragging points at this point, because within the past 6 months, we've got our 501c3 status, which is huge. there are people in this room that worked hard, Ms. Cam back there, really helped get the 501c3 status, which is big. That means we can actually go after different grant money. It means we can be a lot more in charge of our own finances, and it just kind of is the next step in this organization's journey and becoming as impactful as we can be. On top of that, we got our first bank account. May not sound like a big deal, but it took a lot of work, and we now once again are becoming a lot more financially aware, financially involved in what our organization is about. On top of these two great things, we also have had a lot of success on the grant front. And I would say about 2 to 3 weeks ago, I'm like getting really excited. We heard from the MacArthur Foundation that we did obtain a very large grant from them. And I will say it's and we're still sorting out all the details around that, but Kate is definitely going to be able to have a really big impact and hopefully support the Chicago area and Chicago Native people. That is something that we worked our little butts off for, and everyone who is on the ARC really put in some extra overtime. So you haven't seen Jasmine or Rose, Shante or Jody. I know they're all, in charge of their own organizations that they're working on, but please give them an extra pat on the back for all their extra work they're doing. They are really and then, that's not it on the grant fund. We've actually got 4 different grants that have come in since I've been lucky enough to be here. The other one is a Woods Fund grant. And this one is actually going to be focused largely on having a larger voice from a legislation standpoint. So one of the things that we first did when I came on board was we took Kate through and kind of strategic plan on what matters and what we want to do as we grow up. And one of the things that we decided that was going to be important to us was we wanted to have a stronger voice within the legislation. We had 4 pillars that come out. One was advocacy and legislation. The other one is sustainability of faith, making sure that we are an organization that is going to be here and can represent ourselves well. The third is supporting the community, and that's from a kind of a one-on-one standpoint. And then the fourth is kind of supporting folks from their organization. So we worked really hard to come up with those different aspects of what we want Kate to move forward. And you will see that a lot more as we align our finances and as we align hopefully the new board folks that are going to be coming in. And just a lot of great things are happening there. Okay, no, I stop. I like to walk around a lot more up here. So those are some of the great things that are happening at Kate. We are also going to be, I mentioned the 4 people that are on the AOC. 2 of those folks are going to be rolling off this year. So anyone who's part of in this room or is part of the organization, we are going to be looking for 2 other folks to fill in on kind of executive board position. It's a lot has been accomplished with these 4 lovely ladies, and if anyone has any questions or comments or wants to learn more about how you can get involved with Kate more, that is one big opportunity. We have committees, we have legislation that we're watching, we have obviously this great education committee that's doing a lot of great things. So if you want to learn more or be more or do more, we are here supporting you in all of that. So with that, I'm going to kind of move things around. Any questions, comments from the audience? Okay, then the next thing that we're going to do is, everyone's going to stand. So take a stand if you can and are willing. And we are going to do a game where everyone's going to stand on one side of the room. This side of the room is going to be yes, or I agree, or that makes sense to me. And this side of the room is no, I don't agree, or that isn't me. And we're going to kind of divide ourselves up. And there's 2 purposes to this. Number one is kind of get blood flowing, so make it a street. And the other thing is I want you to pay attention to how people are moving in the room legitimately. Like, where are issues that you align with someone else? Where are issues that you may not align with someone else? Where do you agree, where do you disagree? The point is for you to get an understanding of who your community is here and how we can, you know, just work together from the same point. So with that being said, we're going to start with some fairly easy stuff. This side of the room is I agree. This side of the room is no, or I don't agree, or that isn't me, and how that works out. So this side, I live in Chicago area. So if you live in Chicago area, you will wander over to that side. And if you don't, you live outside of it, you will be on this side. Represent Chicago. Okay, is anyone going to move over here? That's why we started with something easy. All right, so Chicago area, that's over here. Our non-Chicagoans are over here. Awesome. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna kind of shift back and forth a few times. And like I said, I want you to pay attention to who's around you. And, you know, the questions are gonna get, you know, potentially a little harder. So next question is who is formally involved with CAPE? You have a role in CAPE and you stay on this side if you do, and if you don't, you go over there. So if you're involved in CAPE on the left, and if you're not involved in CAPE, you're on the right. Excellent. Thank you. Okay, who is in, if you are in the education space and you're here to learn more about what's happening, education space at all, that's your job, if you're doing something in that, you wander over here. And if you're not, you would see over here. Everyone's in the education space? All right. Put a little smarty hands in this room, I love it. Okay. Who, if you agree with this, you stay on this side, and this you go over there. Who in this room feels like that they are misunderstood as far as how they identify themselves within the Native community? The Native community, like they may not understand you, you may not feel accepted, you may feel like things just aren't jiving pretty well. So if you agree with that, if you're like, hey, I don't know where I fit into all of that, you would stay here, and if you disagree, you wander over here. Sorry, that question is long. They're gonna get harder and easier. So the reason why we're kind of breaking this down is one of the big benefits of this kind of environment and hopefully CAPE is that we're able to give Native people voices that they may not have in the larger world. And this is an example of, you have a lot of folks who are like, I don't know where I belong, I don't know how this works, I don't know, what organization to turn to. This is where we can hopefully come together on one voice. Okay, next question is, who has been to a powwow? Been to a powwow over here, have been to a powwow over there. Powwowers? Non-powwowers. Powwowers? Non-powwowers. Excellent. So I want you powwowers to look across the room and invite these folks to the next powwow. Exactly. We got flyers on the table. There is so many amazing things that are happening in this community that it blows my mind. So a powwow is just one way to get started, but you've got great resources. You folks have great resources, and you guys better be friendly to the folks over here. We'll just go with one last question, which is, When you guys are thinking about what brought you here today, would you say you're more motivated to meet new people and network, which is stay over here, or if you're more motivated to learn about what's happening in kind of the urban education? So you got to make a decision. This one's a little tougher. You want to meet people, or you're here ultimately to like really dig into what's going on. Meet people, dig in. Meet people, dig in. My little networkers over here are me. You can be it all. Yeah, exactly. No, I'll keep it to that. So my little networkers, hopefully you know see amongst yourselves who you're going to be talking to, but you know we've got some folks that are really here to dig in and learn what's going on. So the reason I like doing this is so that we can get a better feel of who's in the room, what we're doing, and why we're doing it. So hopefully this kind of gives you some sense of how we can make this weekend better for you. And for those of you that are able to go to the event last night, hopefully you got some of that networking in. But for the rest of the conference, you have a lot of great things you're here to learn and great people to meet and hopefully great things to learn. I already said that, but you know, I love that. So that's kind of it for this part of it. You can take a seat if you like. My networkers, go find someone who wants to come here and learn. And Miss Josie Starr, I have just another minute or two, but I just know I'm kind of wrapping up there. So our next thing that we're going to be doing is going to be having lunch. So if you have any questions about what's going on in this community, or questions about what's happening in Cape, you know, good, bad, easy, I will do the best I can to answer anything that's on your mind that's happening in the community. But you've also got great, amazing resources here. I am just one little talking head. There are a lot of fantastic groups here. So if you want to learn how to get more involved, whether it's with Cape or one of these other organizations, I just advocate for anyone to make the most out of this experience. So that's all I have. And if there's any other things that I can help you with, I'll be roaming around today for anything else.
Thank you, Maureen, for your wonderful presentation. As mentioned before, I'd like to share more about the Education Committee of the Chicago American Indian Community Collaborative. Our mission is to provide, advocate, and support an intertribal urban system of education through networks of Native American programs and other providers to increase academic and career success for multi-generations that recognizes formal education and tribal cultures and traditions. We are made up of American Indian educators, parents, and students who represent 10 educational organizations and programs serving American Indian people in the Chicago area. Our current initiatives are the education conferences, Indigenous Peoples Day campaign, providing support to families, high school to college mentorship, and the Indigenous Chicago Project in partnership with the Chicago Library. Our member organizations are the American Indian Center of Chicago, the Chicago Public Schools American Indian Education Program, the Darcy McNichol Center for Native American and Indigenous Studies at the Missouri Library, the Field Museum, the Native American House, University of Illinois, Champaign-Urbana, Native American Sport Program at the UIC of Chicago, University of Illinois, Chicago, Northwestern University, the Mitchell Museum of the American Indian, the St. Kateri Center, and Visionary Ventures. This is our 6th annual Urban Native Education Conference and our first conference in person in 2019. Thank you so much to everyone for supporting us as we pivoted to a virtual setting for the past 2 years. We are happy to be in person with you all again, and we've doubled the length of our conferences from 1 day to 2 wonderful times. So thank you all for joining us. Our conferencing this year is Waterways of Life, Teachings, Practices, and Knowledge in Action. We chose this theme for our education conference because water is connected to many teachings in our lives. Our relationship with water starts at the beginning of time in many of our indigenous creation stories. Water surrounds us as our first environment when we are in the womb, and we continue to have deep relationships with water throughout our lifetime. Water connects us to the world around us and our responsibilities and relationships to others. Over the next 2 days, we will continue to explore this theme as well as other sessions about the urban Native education experience. You can find information about all of these sessions in your program books. There's session information, the timeline is all in here. If you guys have any questions, anybody with blue t-shirts, you can come up and ask any one of us for any other questions, or we have our planning committee, our wonderful planning committee that helps make this whole weekend possible. We could not have done it without every single one of these people. Our members of our education committee, the planning committee consists of Jasmine Bruno, Dante Moore, Paul Foster, Aaron Golding, Hetty Peterson, Kelly Cucciarelli, and Ronnie Preston. We invite you to visit our information group of our CAPE members and community organizations located at the back of the room. If you got any questions again about any of these organizations or CAPE, you can come find and talk to each one of us. We want to thank our gracious host facility, the Illinois Holocaust Museum and Education Center, for sharing your space and allowing us to join you this weekend. Included in your conference registration are museum passes. So we hope that you make some time to visit the exhibits, to wander around and enjoy the museum. We did book a couple time slots for their hologram and virtual reality exhibit. And you guys can wander around at your own leisure through any time throughout the day. We want to thank our sponsors for this wonderful event. Without them, we wouldn't be able to be here today. The sponsors for this event are the American Indian Center, the American Indian Chicago Public Schools American Indian Education Program, the Field Museum, the University of Illinois at Chicago Native American Support Program, Northwestern University, the Mitchell Museum of the American Indian, the St. Kateri Center of Chicago, and Visionary. A conference tradition of ours is to engage in a large group activity, and this year we invite you to engage in some reflection prompts that we prepared for you all to think about the gifts or teachings that water has given you, the gifts of gratitude you've given water, or to share a memory you have with water. You'll see a different colored paper with each prompt with some pens and markers that are around here on the table for you. You have questions, talk to anyone that has the red badge. You can choose to post your reflection response on the river wall, which is located on the wall over there, or you can keep your reflection for yourself. This activity will be available for you to engage with throughout the entire conference, and we encourage you to return to the wall to read about it. After you are done engaging with the reflection prompts, we invite you to join us in the dining room for lunch before the breakout sessions begin at 1 o'clock. The breakout sessions begin that will take place in the classroom over here. There is the kids room and the additional classroom over here. All your schedule of events and the upcoming presentations should be in your books. And that's about it. Thank you again, everyone, and enjoy. So it sounds like the lunch will be set up in the next 10 minutes or so, but just wanted to reiterate, Jasmine Bruno, one of the committee members. But I know we have some lovely sessions planned for today, some amazing speaker and knowledge and presentations that they put together for you all today. We have an awesome keynote speaker, Dr. Marty Matlock, who's coming in, Cherokee Nation. But this tradition of the large group activity really signals that like each and every one of us holds knowledge, ideas, stories, a perspective to share. And we wanted to create space for you all to share what you hold and have to give to the world. So that I really do encourage you. There's 3 different reflection prompts, and it's engaging with our theme around water. So thinking about a memory that you have with water, about a teaching that water has given you, or how you have shown gratitude to water. And there's little washi tape, so you can post it and add it to the river. And this is going to be symbolic of like all of the knowledge that each of us hold in visual. And then you can work on that now in the next 10 minutes while they set up lunch, but then also it will be up over the next 2 days, so you can revisit what others have posted. Also, if you just feel like reflecting on the page yourself and keeping it to yourself, you are welcome to do that as well. But yeah, thanks again. Enjoy.